This is We Are Horrorible with Bria and Charles.
Okay, so this is now the 4th episode of We Are Horrible. That was an abrupt way to start. Anyway, so 4th episode, We Are Horrible. Phantasm is what we're doing. I'm your host, Bria Beal, Bria R. Beal, Bria Renee Beal. I have a very special guest with me, but first I would like to say that, again, I am sorry Charles will not be with us tonight because he is still doing all the things with the packages, getting you your shit, ladies and gentlemen. He is doing the hard work right now. So, no further ado, Anthony Fortellini.
You got it. That's
last
me.
name's hard.
It's, I don't know, it's Italian or Polish or something. No one really told me the truth about it.
It sounds Italian.
I'm Italian enough, it's fine.
It sounds Italian.
It's very hard to say.
We are going to be drinking while we do this episode. I want to take a minute and apologize. This has been a weird schedule for us. We're trying to get the episodes out. We're having some problems, like I said, with Charles being my main host. He's a wonderful human, but his schedule is not the best with the working. Thank God he's still working.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
With all of us in the service industry. I am still working. Anthony, my fellow bar friend, bar coworker.
I'm a bum right now. That's fine. That's
We're
okay.
all bums in the Lord's eyes. Slinging the liquor.
Right.
Making people drunk.
Oh, God.
I know. But yeah, we are going to be drinking while we do this. Drinking some T-Dub Samuels, the 100 proof. The ones that you can only get in the Kentucky. We got it here tonight, folks. Also, just to mention real quick, thinking about the whiskey, which is what T-Dub is, if you want to upgrade to some great Texas shit, homegrown, out of Waco. You guys know Waco, that weird standoff that Waco had.
The Netflix series that we all watched. Yeah.
Yeah, the weird Waco. Drink all of the Balcones. Who's going to be one of my other guests, probably in a few episodes, Mr. Chris Birch. I'm introducing him. He has no idea that I'm doing this, but drink Balcones. It's wonderful whiskey, one of my favorites. He'll be here in a couple episodes, but right now, Anthony.
Yes?
I know you're about to drink that beer.
Yeah, I'm about to sip on the beer.
Yeah.
Some Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Yeah. Tell us all the things. So how did you come across horror? However you want to say anything about you.
What do you mean?
You like horror. This is why you're coming into my life.
I love horror
with
movies.
this podcast.
Well, when I first got into horror was like I'm a huge film nerd, but the first thing that got me into film was horror. And it was kind of back in the days where people still bought DVDs, back in the olden days, hundreds of years ago.
Yes.
And when, your uncles would just give you Best Buy gift cards and just like, here you go.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. And I think when I was about like 13, 14-ish, I went in on just buying a shit ton of horror DVDs. Everything from like Rosemary's Baby to Suspiria, Phantasm. Just like kind of went on the whole gambit, and my whole collection of movies at that age was just like probably like 75% horror movies. So
did you get the weird collaborations like the ones at Walmart that were like $2 and they had like 100 movies from the 1930s?
No. I'm purist. I only buy the real DVDs.
Okay.
I want the commentary. I want everything.
Okay.
I'm about the special features, dude. Come on.
So yes, I met Anthony. We worked together at 7 Grand Las Perlos. He's a wonderful human and wonderful bartender. The bar in Austin where we are recording this. It is not open right now, but you should go when it is open. It will be.
One of these days.
It will be. Great whiskey mezcal bar. Wonderful, wonderful to go to. I know I put you on the spot by asking you. Okay,
oh,
you got into horror. It's fine.
You're good.
Do you have any? Let's start with some real life horror stories. Let's get into it.
Oh my god. So I had like an Alfred Hitchcock The Birds moment.
Oh, fuck. Here we go. I have a bird's moment every day.
I know. So there was this mama bird, mama sparrow? I don't know what kind of bird it was. I'm not a fucking bird expert. I don't study bird law. But this fucking bird started building a nest in our mailbox. And like, I saw that there was a nest in there, and every single day there would be like one egg that appeared until there were eventually 5 eggs. And the birds hatched. And this mama bird was just making a nest in our mailbox, which I was like super stoked about. Because I was like very humbled. I was like, I'm really glad that out of all the houses you could have chosen, it was our like shitty little duplex that you chose to make your nest at. And once the birds hatched, they were fucking disgusting. They had like no eyes. They were just like,
as all
they
babies
were weird.
are.
Yeah, they were weird.
Are.
But as they started like in the few weeks as they started to get like hair and be like more like cognizant and like cool, mama birds started getting fucking crazy. Until one point, I would like walk out of my house and she would be like on a wire because we have like string lights at our house. So she would be on a wire just like barking at me, just chirping at me. And there were a few times where I just had to go back inside the house because she was just like,
I can't go to work,
She was just barking at me so hard. And I was like, I might be late to work, but also I don't want to get my fucking eye pecked out by like this incredible mama sparrow.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck she is. So, and I can
only fuck with it.
And I can only imagine if you're in a scenario like Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, where there's thousands of them just attacking you. Just one was enough to scare me off.
No, absolutely.
It's fucking terrifying.
They're fucking terrifying.
I don't like them.
No, birds are real scary sometimes. Like, one thing that I noticed when I first moved here to Austin is like, I'm a big fan of crows. I like their work. They're dark, they're creepy. They fucking hang out. Well, yeah, come on now. Let's travel down the path of any goth child, any fucking horror movie fan. You like crows. You like The Crow. Brandon Lee's The Crow. It's all good. It's all good stuff. They dress in black every day. They hang out in graveyards.
That's your MO, dude.
That's everything
totally.
I'm about. So I moved to Austin, and I noticed that there are no crows. And I'm like, but why? Everywhere has crows. Everywhere. I'm pretty sure everywhere in the fucking world has crows.
Yeah, I think so.
I will do some research, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, Austin has a lot of vultures.
So, vultures, but we have grackles. I'm pretty sure grackles, by the way, for all of you guys that don't know what the fuck grackles are, they're this prehistoric looking motherfucker of a bird
That eat tacos.
They're mean.
They're disgusting.
They pick on everything else, and they look like I would say evil crows, but that has like a cool connotation in my mind.
No, the grackle thing is only eyes.
Their tails are like
disgusting.
split and they're weird. Yeah, they're mean and weird, and I'm pretty sure that they ran the crows out. Who the fuck runs a crow out? Crows travel in murders, bro.
Murders, fool! Yeah, fucking grackles.
What is a herd?
It's a fucking murder.
A herd of. Is it the same? I don't know. But whatever the herd name is for grackles, it has to be something even more terrifying.
They're disgusting and they like to eat your food.
Yeah,
and
they're terrible. They're mean seagulls.
No, crows are cool in comparison to grackles because grackles fucking suck.
Yeah, they suck. So I've not seen one crow in Austin. And also, something I've discovered lately with the keeping on the whole bird theme and real life horror stories is there's like lots of dead birds around here right now. I don't know what's happening, but I've come across like several fucking dead birds in the past week, just like not on my doorstep. Otherwise I would think I pissed off a witch or something.
Sure.
But just like around, being eaten by insects and things. And I'm like, oh my God, is there a hex on this land? Like, am I on an Indian burial ground? Because I'd like to know. Like, that would be cool, in a way.
You should do a hereditary thing and just cut its head off and maybe just keep it in your pocket.
Oh, yeah, but if I keep it in my pocket, that's unsanitary.
I don't know. I'm just saying, try new things out.
Try new things.
Yeah.
That's life lesson from Anthony. Try new things.
Yes.
Any more horror stories from you? Do you have things? Every time you take a sip of that beer, I'm going to stop you. I swear.
Oh my God. I don't drink. Well, I also went camping last weekend and I had like a little bit of sleep paralysis, which is always like a fun time.
Oh God.
I was sleeping in like a tent cot, so it was like a,
Yeah.
it was a tent cot.
At least you have a cot instead of like
It
sleeping
was
on the
really
ground.
nice, and before I went like canoeing on the river the next day, but I had a sleep paralysis, and I had a dream about like police lights flashing outside of my tent, and then a man whispering to me in Spanish in my tent cot. And it was pretty weird. It was like very, very fucking strange.
That's some fever-ass dream
But
shit,
it's
bro.
one of those things where it's like you've been in the city for so long and been so confined, like when you actually get out to nature, like things are very strange.
You also went camping in like 100-degree weather.
Yeah, it was garbage. Like I could not fall asleep for like an hour and a fucking
This is
half.
Texas, Anthony.
Yeah, I know. And then like a breeze like blew through the tent cot and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
That sounds awful.
But yeah, sleep paralysis is fucking crazy.
It's a waking nightmare.
It's a crazy time, but when you know that it's happening, it is a little bit more comforting when you can like actually realize it while you're in it. You're like, okay, don't open your eyes, because if you open your eyes, you're gonna see like demons or something.
Oh man.
And the last thing I want is a demon in my tent cot. I'm trying to fucking camp and have a good time, dude.
The last thing I want in my life, period, is a demon. I don't want that shit. I mean, I will watch it all goddamn day. But I don't want to actually happen to me. I guess I'm a fucking pussy. I don't know.
No, it's not. It's not okay. It was kind of scary.
Some other real life horror shit that has happened. So there's this dog that I don't even know how to describe it other than it reminds me of Jaws only because it has dead eyes like a fucking doll, like a fucking doll's eyes.
Like a doll's
Dead
eyes.
serious. It is right there. It fucking exists in the apartment, like across from me. And every time I leave my apartment, it just stares at me. And it's this tiny little fluff ball. And I'm like, cool, non-threatening, except it looks like it wants to tear me apart every time I fucking see it. And I'm like, dear God, I don't know who your owner is, but I pray, Lord, that maybe it is Satan. I have no idea.
It's just some like dead-eye Cujo shit.
It's a white fluff ball with dead black eyes.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yep. Looks like it's staring into my heart, trying to picture pissing in it, eating it. I know that it wants to mutilate my heart. I feel it.
I thought cats were weird, and it turns out little dogs are just like not okay.
They're demon spawn sometimes. That's why I have a large dog.
Fair enough.
Speaking of Droopy, all the good thoughts. That's another real life horror thing. All the good thoughts to my Jupiter. He is the official, unofficial mascot of this horror podcast. He had a minor seizure last week. He's going in a week from now to get that checked out. That was fucking terrifying, and I never want that to happen to any of your pets out there, so be careful. I don't know. I still don't know what caused it, but he gonna be okay, because he's a big guy, and he's got lots of fight in him, and he's 2 years old, and it'll be fine.
He's a spunky boy.
He's a spunky boy. He's a spunky boy. He came out of that shit. It was crazy. Like, he had a full-on seizure for, like, a good 10 seconds, and he jumped up like nothing had happened, and he like ran to his bone and was like, "Mom, let's go play." I
He's
don't
like,
give a
"Wait,
shit."
what?
And he's like throwing it around like fucking bouncy ball, like just like, oh man, just like throwing his bone on the floor against the window. And
He's
I'm
like, boom, I'm up. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm like, did you just like rejuvenate? I don't know what was there an on and off switch I didn't know about? Like, all right.
Fucking guy.
Yeah, but yeah, so good thoughts to the baby Jupiter.
Take care of your pets in general. It's
Yeah,
a little
take
hard
care
right
of
now
your
because you're just a little bit isolated with your pets, but you know.
Yeah, especially because
Take them to the vet if you need to.
yeah,
All
take
the
him to
stuff.
the vet. Also, it's hot right now in Texas. Careful, guys. They get overheated. They got fur.
Yeah.
It's too
Get
hot.
get your pets little shoes.
Those little flippy floppies. Yeah.
The sidewalk's hot, man.
Little fans that connect to their collar. That'd be amazing. Why hasn't that existed? I don't know.
Yeah, one that like sprays every like couple seconds.
Keeping them cool.
Take care of those babies.
Yeah. So, okay, you want to get into the movie? You want to do it?
Let's do it.
Oh man, guys. Okay, so I don't know if you're familiar with this movie. I rewatched this last night with Anthony, and it's a whole thing.
It is a whole
I feel
thing.
like every movie I've covered so far, I have this same reaction where I'm like, wow, it was like a fever dream that someone had, and they thought that it would be a good idea to put on fucking film.
Yeah.
Like, that's what that is. And I have a great story about showing this to somebody. Okay, so it was my 19th birthday, and I had already seen the movie. My brother, who's 5 years younger than me, so he was like 13, about to be 14 at the time. He comes over, and God bless his soul, I fucking love him, and he's a great human being and a lover of horror as well. But he comes over, and I'm like, Blake, we're gonna watch Phantasm, and he had never seen it. And he goes, okay, and somebody had given me a whole giant bottle of Grand Marnier because fucking, oh yeah, Happy Bastille Day happened yesterday. We're recording this on the 15th. Grand Marnier, French, there's the connection. I'm also French.
The French connection. Oh my God, there you go. Boom, boom,
I
boom.
didn't even think about that. So please, Dad, forgive me. I love you. Thanks. So I was drinking Grand Marnier, and my brother was too. We were shitty kids, and we were watching Phantasm, and so we got drunk off Grand Marnier, which is a liqueur.
Yes, it
By the way.
certainly is.
And I'm like, yeah, let's like drink every time the tall man shows up. Which, by the way, he shows up a lot.
Oh yeah, he's in it a
in
lot.
the entire
Yes,
movie.
He's
And I'm mean because I had
figure.
already seen this movie, so I know what we're about to get into. Poor brother.
Monster.
Yeah, I'm a monster. Poor brother Blake passes out. And I go to bed after the movie, and I wake up and I can't fucking find him. I'm like, oh my God, my dad's gonna kill me. My teenage brother is lost. The world is over. Can't find him. And for my birthday, I had received a giant coffin that was built out of shitty wood. Plywood. Brittle plywood. And I walk around, can't find him, walk back into the house, and the coffin lid is cracked. I peer in, and I see his hand move, him hiss at me, and then close the lid. And I was like, we're going to be friends forever. So, thank you, Phantasm, for getting us drunk and ensuring our friendship.
That's fucking wonderful. I had my roommate tell me about a friend of his that went on a date with a girl at the Paramount Theater in Austin to go see Phantasm. And about 10 minutes into the movie, she looks at him and goes, I thought we were watching Fantasia. The Disney's Fantasia, which is also quite disturbing in some ways. And she walked out, and that sounds like the worst first date ever is.
I thought you meant Fantasia, with Mickey and the cartoons
exactly,
and the music
and all the crazy shit. And,
there is a demon in that, though.
I mean, it's not
terribly
It's a pretty unsettling movie anyways, but I mean, at least in the first, couple of minutes you get some boobies. That's Fantasia doesn't have that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but if you think you're watching Fantasia and you get Phantasm, I guess you're in for a ride.
And sit through it. You're there. You already got the ticket. You probably got the popcorn.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. It's entertaining as fuck.
Man,
and that's what we're talking about, is because it's entertaining as shit.
Yeah, it really is. Without further ado, let's get into the beginning of the movie right now. So, starts off, there is a wonderful house in this movie that they show. It's in a lot of the scenes. It's just giant. I don't know. Would you say colonial house? It almost looks like the house almost looks like plantation-esque.
It kind of does. Yeah,
it really does. It's white with giant pillars.
And all of it was filmed in California.
Right. It's all filmed in California,
yeah.
but it's a giant mansion. It's huge. It's a funeral house, but I mean, I don't know if the intention of that house was to be a funeral home or it was turned into a funeral home, but it's a very pretty house, super giant, fucking probably at least 3 stories, white pillars, fucking huge. And outside of it is a cemetery.
Yes.
And I almost said graveyard. There's a stark difference between graveyard and cemetery.
Yes. Morningside Cemetery.
Morningside Cemetery is the cemetery. So they show the house, they show the cemetery, and immediately you get this fuck scene. And it is what we know to be the lady in lavender
Yes.
Lady in Lavender.
Fucking Tommy.
And Tommy, literally fucking Tommy.
Oh, yeah. She's riding him.
She's riding him.
Real good.
Titties. Naked.
So the thing about the titties is that they got another actress to do the titty stuff.
As is the way.
The Lady in Lavender was like, nope,
Not
I
having
don't
it.
want to do that.
Not having it. That's a common thing. She's like, I
sure.
want to show my tits.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a double.
They had a titty double.
I got to stunt
2
woman.
times in the movie, I believe. 2 titty double. Like 2 times.
We gotta pull
It's
Scott
fucking-
back in here for the titty corner. he talks about the tits, and he has this. He's like fucking a savant with tits. He remembers every fucking tit scene in every movie. I swear.
That's
to God.
amazing.
It's
Wow, that's
pretty
incredible.
good. Yeah, I wish I could do that. I'd try.
But yeah, the tall man. Well, the
Lady in Lavender.
/ the tall man.
Right, so what we find out very quickly is the lady in Lavender is fucking the shit out of Tommy, and Tommy is grunting like he is drunk, but also enjoying it. And then all of a sudden he realizes he's fucking a dude. And not just any dude, what we will be friends with later on in the movie and know as the tall man. And he's one of the scariest motherfuckers I've ever seen. If I suddenly found out that I was fucking him and not the person I intended to fuck, I'd kill myself.
He's terrifying.
He's terrifying.
Like, this woman is fucking him and then stabs him in the heart and all of a sudden turns into the tall man. But the thing I want to say about that is that the tall man lets him finish.
Oh, yes.
That is a really weird part about it, is that the tall man could just be like, hey, we'll do some foreplay. I'll stab you, you're dead. No, the tall man makes sure that Tommy finishes and passes out before stabbing him. So the tall man wants some ass. Before Lady in Lavender turns into tall man, he wants ass. Like, apparently. Like, he must be really lonely in that shit because...
Yeah, I mean, like, who knows if he has even ever had sex?
I know. He must enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, at least he's nice about it. But then Tommy dies.
Tommy dies. Tommy gets stabbed in the fucking chest.
Yeah, Tommy dies abruptly. That's the first death in the movie. There's not many deaths in this movie. This is not...
There's like 5, right?
Yeah, there's a few. I mean, like, by horror movie standards, it's only a few.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Tommy's the first death. And then it's his funeral.
Then it's his fucking funeral. Then it's his fucking funeral.
So it's his fucking funeral, and the problem. So Phantasm, it's wonderful, but the thing is that, as kind of Anthony and I were discussing earlier, is that Don Coscarelli is the director, and he originally set out to make this a 3-hour movie, and then he suddenly abruptly had to shorten it, and so there's a couple things missing. So when you're watching this movie, keep in mind you have to kind of be like, all right, we'll just piece this together, and what's kind of fun also is you theorize and you're kind of guessing. You're left to guess about a few things. And right off the bat, there is a few things that you have to guess about. So after Tommy dies, which is also, it's weird that he dies in the fucking cemetery with the house next to where his funeral would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But does that make it more... I would say it makes it more convenient for the tall man, but I guess we'll get into that later.
Sure. So Tommy dies, and then at his funeral is Jody and Mike. Mike is outside.
Mike is watching the binoculars. Jody and Reggie.
Reggie.
Reggie is like completely 40 years old. Jody's in his like mid-20s, and I was like, how are you guys friends? Like,
yeah, how'd you guys meet?
How did you guys meet?
Because Reggie is an ice cream man.
Reggie's a fucking ice cream man.
So
he has his own
maybe he
ice
sold
cream
them
business.
ice cream at one point.
I don't know.
And
I don't know how they became
talking.
friends. I think Reggie's maybe doing
drinks.
some other things under the table.
Yeah, drugs.
Exactly, drugs. I think that they're smoking.
I'm sorry, Reggie. I don't mean
I think they're smoking the devil's lettuce is what I think.
Devil's lettuce.
I know.
Yeah, or some other harder things. I don't know. I don't want to speculate.
I mean, yeah, but Reggie's like kind of killing it with his like bald head and his like ponytail. But I'm just like, how? There's a very clear age difference between you guys. How did you become friends? Maybe in a 3-hour cut, there is some sort of explanation.
Yeah, there's probably an explanation.
Just like, how the fuck did you guys?
Right, and
get
also
together?
like another thing is the only people at this funeral what I think that I touched on a couple things yesterday when we were talking was, so you have Jody, and he's the older brother of Mike, and Mike is the kid, and he's very important. He's one of, if not the main character in this movie, and their parents have died, and Jody goes in to explain how their parents have died and how he kept Mike from this funeral because the funeral of their parents really fucked Mike up.
Yeah.
And Reggie is the one, right, that says, "Hey, good job for keeping him away from the funeral."
Yeah.
But the thing is, who the fuck is Tommy to them? They don't explain if Tommy is their brother.
So Tommy is not the brother. He is like a friend.
Okay. They don't really explain.
But they don't explain
that.
it. They're just like,
Yeah.
Tommy. There's
Jody.
Tommy.
Mike. Like, just throwing shit around.
They just kind of give you that shit and kind of let you work with it, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's fine. Like I said,
Yeah.
you can theorize about the things and put it. It's a fucking puzzle that's missing pieces, honestly, and you just got to fill in the blanks.
And it's kind of the great thing about
It is. It's
Yeah.
good about that. So then the funeral happens. Mike with his bike is riding around, and then there's constantly just him riding around his.
Which
fucking,
also, like, who the fuck rides a dirt bike around in a fucking cemetery? I'm just saying, like, no wonder the tall man doesn't like you. You are just peeling ass, like, around fucking gravestones,
You're a
dude.
shitty
Like,
kid.
I'm not saying that the tall man isn't evil, but Jesus Christ, like, what kind of child rides a fucking dirt bike?
a child with no parents, Anthony.
Yeah, I guess so.
A child with dead parents. Okay, an orphan.
You know, children with dead parents and their dirt bikes. You know how that goes.
Yeah, they're dirtbag kids with dirt bikes.
Bullshit. Color me wrong. I'm so sorry.
So Mike is also a very curious boy, and he spends a lot of time in the cemetery, and after the funeral he's observing things, and he's noticing the tall man, and this is when the tall man picks up a casket and puts it in the back of the hearse.
Which is also weird because in funerals, usually you're like there while the casket is being drawn.
right.
But they just kind of like
why
carry
they're
the casket
pallbearers.
and leave it there and then they bounce.
They never show an actual like ceremony, like a burial ceremony.
Yeah.
They only have the people like. By the way, Tommy had to have been loved by other people than these two shitheads.
There were like 6 people carrying his coffin and nobody else there.
And then it was just. Then nothing happened. It didn't get lowered into the ground. It was like.
I mean, maybe Tommy was just that
By
much
the
of a
way,
piece of shit.
Where did they carry his coffin to? Because the tall man picks
No, they like literally carried it to like a place on the ground.
Right.
And then they left.
And then the tall man just picks it up by himself.
I've been to some funerals. That's not how it works.
No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. If
Yeah.
you're a pallbearer, you fucking carry it to its destination.
Watch it go in.
And then they lower it.
And no, they were totally cool with it though.
This is just what happened. Yeah, and what's funny is, so Mike is sitting in the cemetery, and he has these binoculars, which good on him, I guess, for carrying binoculars wherever you go, you weirdo, but what, okay. In this case, it was helpful. And so he's hiding behind some tombstones, and he is looking at the tall man, and he sees the tall man pick up this casket. And all of a sudden, obviously, he's alarmed because Mike is semi-intelligent as a young boy, and is like, how the fuck did one person pick up this casket? He tells Jody, and Jody goes, I helped carry that casket myself. It must have weighed.
It was over 500 pounds.
Yeah, it was over 500 pounds,
Something
which
like
is
that.
not realistic. But either way, we're trying to say it's heavy, it's weird for one person to just pick it up and throw it in the back of a hearse.
And he did it.
He did do it.
Damn. Tall people.
Oh, God. So, this is when, let's see what part we are at now. The problem also with this movie is, like, it does not transition well. It loses
No,
me.
there's a lot of, we can get into that a little bit later, but there's like so many weird edits in it. I mean, it was supposed to be a 3-hour movie that got edited into an 1.5-hour movie, so there's a lot
There's a lot of hard transitions, and that's kind of going back to what we were talking about him with his dirt bike, is like all of a sudden it's a scene with him riding around.
And also like dialogue just with the characters not speaking, it's just kind of dialogue over scenes, like
Yeah.
just like a wide shot of like a funeral home, and it's like people are talking. Like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Yeah, why?
Who's talking? I don't
I'm
know.
looking at the funeral
It's very
home.
strange.
I don't see anyone talking.
But
Yeah.
that's when the 71 Plymouth Barracuda comes in.
that
Is when
Barracuda.
Jody leaves with his fucking Barracuda because Coscarelli knew someone in high school that had one of those cars, and he was a little bit jealous.
Those Barracudas, man.
I mean, it's a fucking good car.
they're sexy
but
cars.
It was just like I was a little bit jealous of that guy that had that car.
Yeah, how does it... I remember...
And I
how
want
does
it
it
in my
come into
movie.
the scene? It's very abrupt.
Oh yeah, they just like kind of peel off from the funeral home, and it's like, whoa, that's a fucking car right there. Like,
Yeah.
what's up with that?
And it's Jody's car.
And it becomes like pretty iconic because it's like used so much in the movie with both of like Jody and Mike.
It's
as
because there's only like
characters.
3
Yeah.
vehicles in the entire movie.
That's true.
There's a hearse.
There's a hearse.
There's an ice cream truck.
There's an ice cream truck.
And then a CUDA.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's also a car movie. I don't know if you hear this. It's a fucking car movie.
Real
for sure.
Americana
Yeah, it's like
thing.
a Fast and the Furious kind of thing.
This is also, by the way, skipping over a couple things, but there is a slight introduction to a robed figure that you'll find out later what that means. It's the first time we see it. While Mike is observing the tall man, there's this thing that it's very, very fast, but there's something that passes by him, and it's a robed figure. And then also there's talk of like Jody sending Mike off to live with his aunt because it's just them. They're brothers. Jody being the older one doesn't really give a shit about taking care of Mike, honestly.
No, he doesn't. He's like ready to leave, and it's like, man, you're kind of. It's like you're a little bit of the worst older brother of all time, right now. Like both of your parents are dead. You're just
Right.
like, I'm gonna bounce, dude.
Yeah, and somehow throughout all this shit, fucking Mike has made friends with, because he goes to see, right after he's telling Jody about the casket situation with the tall man, Mike goes to see the psychic.
Yeah.
Like, how
fuck?
we don't know the relationship necessarily between this old woman who is... I have no idea if she's a witch or a psychic, or if she was born 3,000 years ago and has resurrected herself. All I know is that there is this young blonde woman who is her granddaughter who talks to Mike. They both, the blonde woman, the younger blonde woman, and the grandmother both have matching star tattoos.
Well, the grandmother has one on her fucking
Yeah.
forehead,
And then she has, like, one on her
one on her
cheek.
cheek, which is
Sure,
like, yeah,
they're
why not?
magic folk.
Yeah, sure.
Let's not question the ways, I guess.
You've come to my fortune-telling house. I will put stickers on my face.
Right.
Come on.
Here's a sticker for you and you. Look underneath your chair. Everyone gets a sticker.
But yeah, Mike just kind of like, what does he just like casually go to
How
this
did he
like
meet them? Like, how did he
Yeah,
even
there's-
come across?
I
Did they
mean,
go to school together?
Exactly.
Were
There's
they hanging
like
out in the same
Mike
cemetery?
just goes to like this psychic's house with her and her granddaughter and just hangs out and asks questions. But like it's already established that Mike knows them. Like he's
Yeah.
been there multiple times. Like is he just
Like,
there
they
to
welcome him.
Yeah, exactly. Like, has he been there just to ask questions about his dead parents or like what the fuck? No, it's just weird.
I'm assuming he sought help with when his parents died, or maybe he knew this young blonde, and the young blonde was like, my grandmother's a psychic. It's not told. And again, this is all theorized. You know what? Damn it. I don't want to find out. I don't even want to know.
Yeah.
Fuck it. It's better to speculate.
It's fucking weird though.
It's fun, but Jesus Christ, it's a little tough.
It's a little. I just don't know what you're
I have
doing
no
there.
idea. Yeah, no idea.
As a child that has been that age, I don't know. I mean, I've never been through trauma of my parents dying, but I don't know if I would go to a psychic
Well, this is the thing.
multiple times to like figure shit out. I don't know. It's very strange.
As a person that has gone through some similar things, I don't know if I'd be allowed to, like, after school one day, I can't picture myself just like fucking off and going to a psychic's house and then asking them about said dead parent, like,
Yeah, but
and then
also-
coming home and being like,
But in that scene,
Hey, Dad.
he asks like, "What is my brother gonna do?" Like, it's like very strange.
yeah, it's a strange scene. I like it. It's creepy. It adds some elements to it.
Yeah.
It's also not that it's not that long, which is kind of like, all right, where did this come from? But also like, hey, I kind of want more of it because it's ooky and spooky.
Yeah, a little bit.
She also, the young blonde woman asks Mike to put his hand inside that box.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he's terrified because, okay, in every situation, in the entire world, I think that everybody would be terrified just to stick their hand into nothing.
Mysterious box.
A mysterious box. When you have this grandmother, which, by the way, doesn't say a word the entire time. She just sits there and it has some expression where she's laughing and smiling, but also serious and kind of sad. Doesn't say a word, though. It's basically like she's talking through her granddaughter, which... Please give me some context.
Yeah, there's absolutely no fucking context.
Because that's a whole origin story I want to read about.
I want that movie.
I want that movie, yeah. Can we do a prequel? But yeah, he sticks his hand in this box, and he's terrified, and he's like, oh, it's hurting me. And then the young blonde woman says, don't fear it. He finally goes, okay, fine, I don't fear it, and then is able to remove his hand. It's a fucked up Chinese finger trap I don't ever want to find myself in, but cool. I still don't, I mean, it has a slight context into the movie, but really...
It's weird.
It's not a good moral for the movie because what is it teaching you? Okay, don't fear this giant tall man, and then later on other things supernatural things that we don't understand. No, the point is you should absolutely fear these things.
Yeah, they're fucking terrifying, dude.
And they will hurt you.
My goodness.
So then, after that, let's go into... I lost myself with going down the hole of the hand. I think I found myself in the hole of the hand.
I mean, as one does when you go into that thing. I also, after that, Jody has a great quote, which there's a lot of good 70s-ass quotes in this movie, but one that I really have that I resonated with Jody is, I don't get off on funerals, man. I was just like, does anybody get off on funerals, Jody? Like, come on, dude. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
After this is when Reggie stops by, because they're all pals, and then they have the whole guitar music fucking scene together. Where they're jamming it. He parks his ice cream truck. They have a whole jam session.
And yes, Bill Thornberry, who played Jody, wrote the song that they played. And it's a pretty fucking good song, I gotta say.
Yeah, it's not a bad song. He, in real life, did
slaps.
graduate from the University of California with a music degree. So, good for that guy.
Yeah,
I hope he's with a teaching degree in music. So I hope he's doing something with that, because honestly, he didn't do shit all with movies.
I mean, yeah. But you know, I like that little tidbit. It's a good little friendship thing that happened. It's a little fucking random.
It's cute, and also again, it shows you a little insight into. This is another thing you got to piece together. They have apparently been best friends for a long time. The ice cream man and Jody. I have no idea how. But yeah,
but they're friends. They're really bonded. They play guitar together, and apparently Jody just writes his own songs and is just like killing it out there.
Yeah, they're hanging out.
And Reggie knows Jody's songs too, and
apparently also Reggie just carries around his guitar in his ice cream truck because at any moment he could have a jam session.
Yeah, I didn't.
These are all important things.
My God, that is very important. I had no idea.
So then it goes into. There's this great scene with So after the jam session, I'm skipping a couple of things here because again, it just doesn't transition well. It's hard to figure out where exactly it's going. What sets Jody off? Jody fucking leaves and he goes to the bar. This is when he's going to the bar.
Oh, yeah. Jody loves Dune's Cantina. That's his shit.
Which is in fucking Huntington.
Huntington Beach, baby.
Hey, Huntington.
Hi.
Get out of Huntington.
Here. All right. I enjoyed that.
I said it.
I like that job. It was good.
I said
it. You said what I was feeling. Cool.
Yeah. Anthony's from California. He has feelings about Huntington.
I will not express them on the podcast for... I don't want to turn away any people.
That's okay. So we got Dude's Cantina. We got we got fucking Jody getting all shitty faced and drunk.
I mean, it's his favorite watering hole.
Right.
And Mike is being a little fucking creep.
Yeah, he's being a creep. Oh, and this is probably one of my favorite scenes next. When Jody takes home that girl.
So Jody meets the lady in lavender at the bar. Because that's Jody's favorite little place to go to. Mm-hmm. And Mike is watching them, and then Jody is like, hey, let's go to the cemetery and let's fuck.
Yeah.
Weird.
I literally have two. I wrote, wow.
It's like, dude, why don't you just go home? Your parents are dead. Exactly. There's no one there. You just go to your house.
Everyone wants to fuck in this cemetery for some reason. Everyone wants to fuck in this cemetery.
Disgusting.
And there's this part I had to pause it. And I think I rewound a couple times where he's fucking her. And he somehow... The camera is looking at him, and he's down. I'm assuming he's either going down on her or he's down in the southern region of the lady in lavender, and gets back up and has her underwear.
Oh, he's
in
the
his
panties
mouth. He's got the panties in the mouth.
So while that's happening, Mike is following his older brother Jody around while he's doing his thing. And then Mike is in the cemetery watching Jody fuck the lady in lavender.
And then we got the sound. What you will later come to find out, what I was talking about with the hooded figure, that's a dwarf. These dwarves are fucked up creatures that will fuck your ass up. They are terrifying little creatures. You never see their face. They're in robes. They're like weird Ewok shit, but demonic. And the sound that is used to describe them is warbling, and they are warbling all around that cemetery.
They're warbling all around, but they're watching Mike watching Jody fuck.
Yeah.
So these little dwarves are a little bit of like the cock blocker thing for
they really fucking it's like a key. It's like a hint for the tall man to be like, all right, man, get done fucking because you gotta turn back in the tall man and you gotta take that soul. We need that soul. Yeah, let's hurry up. Yeah, let's hurry up here. Let's get this going.
And then Mike sees a little dwarf and just runs out, and Jody just has panties in his mouth.
Yeah, and then he tries to tell Mike
just straight up
that it's only the wind.
Mouth.
Tells him it's only because Mike's like, hey, I fucking saw this shit. And Jody's like, nah, it's only the wind. Which, by the way, folks, in every horror movie, never believe that. It's never the wind. Also, wind, 100% never the problem.
The tall man is a fucking trollop. Like, dude, he was also willing to go all the way with Jody.
Trollop.
Panties in the mouth.
Yeah, he's doing some extra.
He is horny. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. The tall man / lady in lavender, horny as fuck. That's all I'm saying. That shit is real. I do not know how. Like, it's very interesting.
Well,
but yeah.
Jody ends up giving the keys to his fucking nice-ass Barracuda to Mike and tells him to go home.
Oh, the best thing about before he does that, Mike tells Jody, he's describing what he saw in the cemetery, and he goes, little and brown and low to the ground.
Yeah, little and brown, low to the ground, like a gopher. Like a gopher. He says like a gopher.
It was a gopher.
It was a gopher. And then it's only the wind. It's a gopher and the wind.
It's a gopher and the wind.
It's gopher wind.
God damn, dude. I wish I could apply this logic to my life. Like I could explain everything.
No, it's make-em-ups.
Yeah.
Like if I was an adult right now and somebody were to dead stare me in a cemetery while I'm experiencing this, which by the way, I hope I never do as an adult. But if somebody looked at me and was like, nah, Bria, it was a gopher and also the wind, I'd be like, brah, you on drugs and I am leaving you.
Little band low to ground, just go home. Yeah, and also like Jody just like gives Mike the keys to his car.
Yeah, his nice Barracuda. Which
is like, wait, Jody, how are you gonna get home?
Yeah, how are you gonna get home?
You're gonna go find this girl in the cemetery who you still want to fuck, but you're gonna give your little 13-year-old,
which by the way,
brother,
they
your
look
keys
back
to your car
after the keys, and she's not there.
No, she's not there.
She just disappears.
That motherfucker had to walk home.
Yeah.
Idiot. Just went with your fucking brother. Also, that's the whole thing about this movie is like Jody and his fucking cool ass car, but really Mike is the one driving it all the time and fixing it.
Yeah, he's also fixing it. He does do that.
He's a fucking
mechanic. But for some reason, by the way, previously mentioned, Jody wants to get rid of Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my shitty little brother who also fixes my car.
Yeah.
Like, you son
Who's
of a
also
bitch.
not such a bad little brother.
But when Mike opens up his mouth, he's
annoying as fuck.
He
is.
You can kind of understand, like, I'm going to send you off.
I hate hearing his bitch ass talk, but also, by the way, in a horror movie scenario, I'm just saying, he makes the most sense. But you gotta turn that switch on of like, okay, I guess he's my little brother and he's annoying. However, he's warning me against several dark forces, and maybe I should pay attention.
I mean, we'll get to when he actually does pay attention, which is very interesting. So I think the next scene is like the bed scene, right?
It is. It's when he's tucked himself into bed. He's got a weird array, by the way, of bedding. It looks like a grandma. I'm gonna assume it's his. Maybe it was the psychic grandmother. I don't know. Knitted him a quilt, brown of some shade, and then they're friends. And he also has a leopard pillow, leopard print pillow. And I'm gonna say that he was trying to be classy. And if I had to see his fucking bed right now, I'm sure it's spectacular.
I mean, it's great. Also, like, Mike has a giant moon wall poster on his in his bedroom that is a fucking slapper.
That is amazing.
I want it.
His fucking it's not even a wall poster. It's his whole wall. It's a poster that's his whole wall. It's like
it's like a big ass tapestry that is just like,
it's the view of if you were standing on the moon looking at Earth.
Yeah, it's great.
That's sick as fuck.
I want that.
Yeah, so good job, guys. That's the coolest
wherever you
piece
guys
of aesthetic in the entire movie.
Production design, that was where you guys killed it. It was really fucking good. But that bedroom scene, like, I mean, that's like one of the most iconic horror movie scenes of all time is the tall man and the little fucking dwarves just grabbing at him. Like, it's amazing. It's still fucking scary and so weird. And I remember like the first time watching it when I was very young. Just being scary and like laying in your bed, wondering if the tall man is gonna be like right above your head and if these little fucking goblins are gonna just come swallow you from the earth. Like,
yeah.
It's fucking good and it still holds up and it's like such a great set piece.
Yeah, let's talk about this scene for just a second. So what Anthony is describing is Mike is laying in his bed and he has like this waking nightmare. And this is honestly a defining moment in the movie. And this is what really, to me, out of 3 good scenes that really define it as a horror movie. And Mike is laying in his bed. He has a waking nightmare. And all of a sudden, he looks up and the tall man is behind him, but
like on his,
above
headboard.
him. Yeah, like on his headboard. Yeah. And reaching down there in the cemetery, and he's being lowered into a grave, and the tall man is almost like physically orchestrating it.
Yeah.
Like he's
he has
his hands out. He's kind of telling what the dwarves to do. The dwarves are kind of simultaneously attacking Mike and lowering him into the grave. And it's a nightmare. It's an absolute fucking nightmare.
Absolutely.
Like, 1, you're in a cemetery being buried alive. 2, there's a giant fucking man above you who likes to fuck. So he can rape you.
The tall man fucks.
The tall man fucks. And then you have these little fucking creatures who, again, you don't even know if they're made of baby skeletons. I have no idea what they're made of.
At this point, you don't know anything about these little fuckers.
No, and they're grabbing at you like they kind of want to touch you, but also like they want to eat all of your insides.
Yeah.
So it's terrifying. And this goes on for, I mean, it's a good scene. It goes on for like a solid minute or so.
Yeah, something like that. But I think the thing about it that is pretty interesting is that it cuts away. Like it does a hard cut to Jody going back to Dune's Cantina during the daytime. I mean, like in most horror movies, if someone's having like some sort of like dream sequence, they'll wake up from the dream or be like, oh, you'll have like I woke up from this dream. No. When Mike is getting attacked by these fucking dwarves and the tall man in his dream, it just cuts really hard to just something else. So it's like it kind of goes into that whole other like dream sequence part of it where it's like what is real and what is not kind of thing.
That's a good aspect. That's a good way to look at it because you really don't. This
interesting.
entire movie, you have no fucking idea
Yeah,
what's real.
There's no consistent.
There's no explanation
thing. Yeah.
as to if you are in this universe or you're in theirs.
Yeah.
There's nothing clear.
Like right after Mike has that dream sequence, it just immediately cuts to Jody parking into Dune's Cantina during the day to do some day drinking.
And then it shows Mike in the city because I just remember the tall man. Mike sees the tall man.
Mike sees the tall man
out in the wild.
Yes, out in the wild,
away from the cemetery, away from the funeral
in their little small town.
And I love this scene because Mike is sucking on a lollipop, and the tall man is walking by him across the street.
Well, he's walking by Reggie.
He's walking by Reggie.
Yeah, Reggie has his ice cream truck open.
And he's like across the street, and you see the tall man, and he looks at Mike, and then you see all this like, I don't know if it's exhaust or fog or
it's
something.
Some cold air coming from Reggie's ice cream truck.
And then the tall man breathes in really heavily.
So I think that's gonna go into something later that I kind of researched a little bit, is like the tall man has a reaction to the cold.
Ooh, ooky spooky. I didn't even know that.
The tall man has a certain reaction to cold temperature.
Interesting.
Which I think.
This is again, you had to, they don't fucking say
They don't explain it. These are things you have to idea. Exactly. Yeah. So, yes, the tall man has a very weird reaction to the cold temperature of Reggie's ice cream truck. But it's also very interesting that Mike was just like across the street from Reggie and being like, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm just gonna like watch the tall man walk by you, and I'm just gonna walk away, suck on my lollipop. Very strange. But I have deduced that the cold temperature has something to do with the tall man later in the movie.
All right. You're a good investigator, sir.
I do my.
Did I just put you on my research team?
Yeah, I'm a PI. I got you.
I would love to just like sit in a tiny room with like 3 other people, and when I am like, I don't know what the fuck this is, give them a certain glance, and they know exactly where I'm at, and then be like, it's from this, and then just hand me a slip of paper folded into, and I unveil it.
So, Jody doesn't like Mike, which is just so weird. I'm just like, dude, it's your little brother.
He's a nice kid.
Your parents are dead. He's an annoying kid, but he's nice enough.
I think that he likes him enough, but I also think that, I think that he would like to live his life. I don't know exactly what age Jody is, but I'm assuming he is freshly out of high school.
Probably like,
19, 20?
Yeah, I would say.
No, he's getting into bars.
Obviously like...
He's getting into bars.
But
it's the late 70s. I mean, maybe they're not card.
But also it's like neighborhood bars. Like,
Yeah, but by the way...
You're going to Dune's Cantina. I don't think anyone's really...
Dune's Cantina does not look like a neighborhood bar. It looks like they traveled through the desert and through time and space to get there.
No, it looks like a fucking shithole.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like it's connected to like... suburban
that's so true.
House living area where they are. It looks like it's out in the corner of a desert and they had to go through Burning Man to find it.
I mean, that's so true. Yeah. You make a fucking good point. That shit looks like it's in fucking Death Valley. Like,
I love it though. I would
to?
go to that bar every night.
I mean, I would too. Yeah. Like, that's amazing.
The way it's lit up, the way it's like...
I would love to pick up a tall man in that bar.
Oh, whoa!
Hey, if he lets me finish, that's fine.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's what this movie's about, God damn it.
Men out there and ladies out there. Oh, so we got that on the table.
Meet me at Duden's Cantina.
So then, let's go into the next scene, because that's a doozy. So this is... I'm going to sum this up.
Oh my god, this thing that has not aged well at all.
You tell the dark story.
So Mike is working on Jody's car because Jody's an asshole, and the dwarves come and they fuck with Mike, and then Mike gets trapped under Jody's car.
Terrifying.
Also, there's a Dos Equis plug in there.
Oh, there's two Dos Equis plugs.
There's two Dos Equis plugs. We have them
yeah.
written down. There's a Dos Equis plug in there.
Yeah.
I don't think Mike was drinking the Dos Equis, but Jody.
There's like a Dos Equis sign as well in the background.
There was, yeah. And then, the dwarves start fucking with Mike, and the car falls on top of him, and he's under the car, and then Mike is freaked out, and then hammers Jody's foot by accident, and Jody freaks out, and then this is what Jody says. Look, this quote is maybe the best one. It's not the best one. It's the most horrible one, but best in terms of like what the fuck is. Mike tells Jody about the goblins and dwarves, not goblins.
Whatever, little people.
Yeah, little people in the hoods, whatever. We don't know that they're dwarves yet.
Yeah.
But
we actually just don't know that they're dwarves.
No, they're just like little motherfuckers running around doing some crazy shit. So Mike tells Jody, "Oh my god, those people from the funeral home that were fucking with us, they were here and they were fucking with the car, and they were after me." And what Jody says is this little great nugget. You sure it wasn't the retarded kid Timmy up the street?
That's right. That's right.
That has aged terribly.
Yeah, aged terribly. Yeah. Sure it wasn't the retarded kid.
Also, I wonder in the 3-hour cut if retarded Timmy is maybe a part of the fold.
Yeah, maybe he was an actual character.
He could have been. But, Jody, be more woke. Like, stop. Don't say things like that.
This is also 1979.
It's also 1979, but
we
still.
don't call people that now. Thanks, guys. We're just quoting movies.
I didn't say it.
I didn't write it.
I know it's on the record. It wasn't my quote.
Yeah, yeah.
This is Jody's quote, okay?
I also want you guys to, what I think is hilarious, I want you to imagine little baby Mike trapped underneath the car, reaching for a hammer because he's afraid those dwarf babies are going to eat him. And he just reaches his little hand out, and taps Jody on the foot with the hammer.
It's not that big of a deal, dude. He really freaked out.
I know. I think it's funny as shit.
It is. Yeah.
Jody's terrified. Mike's terrified, and we get a good laugh about it.
I know. God. And Jody's quote is just so terrible.
You sure? You sure it wasn't that retarded kid?
Kid Timmy up the street? My God.
Is there always a Timmy? I think there's always a Timmy up the street.
That is... It's so awful. My God, Jody, you fucking monster.
So then, okay, they break into Morningside.
So Mike breaks into Morningside.
Right, yeah, Mike breaks into Morningside. They go through the woods and they break into the house and they're in the basement. There's a thing with a wig. There's a thing with a garden. Remember this? It was only a couple seconds. I don't know what's going on in the basement. I still don't know.
Well, we have those Greek Roman busts that are around
That's around the door. The door. There's several doors, but this particular door, they show it. It's fast because it's like they were trying to show the entire house in a few seconds. And I literally in my notes have written down breaks into house, wig, and aquatic garden in basement.
What's the aquatic garden part?
I don't remember. I just know that there's a garden. There's something to do with the water.
Yeah, but there's Greek Roman type of vibes above.
This is important,
It's
and I
very
really
strange. What is the significance of this?
And if there is something I do want to figure out, and I'm sure one of you fucks that are listening out there, probably one of my asshole friends, know the answer, and I don't, and I want to research it, but it's these busts, but they're not individual. It's like somebody made a Mount Rushmore of what are maybe Greek or Roman philosophers, and they're above one particular door, and they show it several times in the movie. And then we later on find out what that door is. But Mike, he is running around in the house unchained.
Like a little fuck, like he does.
Like he's trying to figure shit out, and good on him, because nobody else is giving a shit. So
very true.
Yeah, he goes to the casket room. This is when he fucking. This is when he hides.
This is when he hides. He uses a little lighter to prop open the coffin, and he.
Oh, right. So he's hiding. He's hiding from the tall man, and he's in the casket, and he puts this lighter right on the edge of the casket so he can close it without getting trapped in it.
And he's also seeing the maintenance man, who apparently has no fucking idea.
This
what's
guy,
happening. The fucking maintenance man.
This maintenance man.
He has one of the most iconic death scenes in horror movies. And this fucking guy does not even know what's going on.
Thank you, maintenance man. I don't even know your real name. Because you're only in it for a little bit,
but you've meant so much to me.
You meant a lot to me.
Yeah. This fucking guy.
Yeah. So, but the lighter thing really quick, the reason I went into detail about that is because he puts the lighter on the ledge of the casket, closes it so he can get out. And then, continuity error, when he's getting out, he already has the lighter in his hand.
There's a letter and
he
opens it up and like the cut is like
whatever. I know, Don Coscarelli, you had to shorten. You literally had to take half of what you did out of this movie.
No, yeah.
So it's runtime's like an hour. All right,
respect.
Yeah,
I'll give you that one. But oh my god.
Oh.
Okay,
so let's go into the best scene of the fucking movie.
The best scene of the movie. The one of the most iconic.
I gotta take a drink for this.
I mean, fucking give me a swig too, dude.
This is honestly, and I want to pump you guys up right now because I know, like, so far. Oh, I'm gonna take a swig.
Do it. Mm-hmm. You deserve it, lady.
Mm-hmm. So, I've discussed a lot of things. This is only my 4th episode, but I know you guys don't know me that well. I love horror so much. It is the biggest part of my life. If I didn't have it, I wouldn't be who I am today. And honestly, this scene is so iconic and it's so influential and it means the world to me because my favorite thing about horror is not only the blood and guts, that's great, but what it takes to make those blood and guts. And that's the fucking artists, the artists that go into all of that FX makeup. It's so important.
I mean, we can talk about this scene all day. I mean, it's fucking incredible. I'm like, not only is like the silver sphere like one of the most iconic scenes in horror, but I mean, when you think about the time that it was made and how it was made, like, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Fucking sphere.
Sphere.
What do you want to call it? What do you want to call it that pops out of it?
So after
there are multiple things. There's like a screwdriver.
So it's honestly.
So the janitor finds Mike, and they're like wrestling a little bit.
Right.
And then a giant silver sphere floating in the air
literally comes out of nowhere.
Comes fucking nowhere.
From around the hallway.
And you kind of don't know where the fuck this is coming from.
You have no idea.
This has been established in the movie.
In the funeral home, just to paint the picture, is the mausoleum.
Yeah, it's a mausoleum. It's like a marble-tiled mausoleum.
It's a marble-tiled mausoleum that is connected, that is inside this funeral home. Yeah. That is woven in with all these fucking hallways and shit. And this sphere, this silver giant sphere that looks like, for all your Harry Potter fucks. What is it?
Fucking, like a snitch.
Yeah.
I'm not Harry Potter. It's like a fucking snitch. It's like a deadly snitch.
It does. So I wonder if J.K. Rowling got...
J.K. Rowling, don't ever listen to this podcast.
I'm not dissing you.
You're doing great.
I am not. You're doing great. Thanks.
But yeah, like the silver sphere comes out of nowhere.
It comes from around a corner somewhere. Yeah.
The janitor is like trying to reprimand Mike,
who's a giant, by the way. The janitor is a fucking giant, and he can't even take down a little kid in a second. He's having a hard time.
Dude, you're a grown ass man. Like, please.
Yeah, he's having a hard time.
This kid is really little.
Yeah.
So like. These 2 spikes come out of the sphere.
Yeah.
And Mike dodges the janitor, and the sphere goes into the fucking janitor's head. And not only that, but then a screw comes out and drills into the janitor's head, and then shoots blood out of the other side.
Yeah, it opens up a hole. So
for no reason whatsoever.
No, we have no idea.
No rhyme or reason for why this is happening.
It's a flying fucking metal ball sphere that has these, like, it looks like pinchers that come out of it that go into his head, and then, like Anthony said, this fucking screw drills into his head, and then there's a hole that opens up in the back of it, and then it just shoots blood. A continuous flow
just boom,
of
boom,
blood until this dude is dead. And it's like, but what?
It's like, it's iconic and amazing.
When
it
you
has
first watched this,
nothing to do with the movie.
Nothing.
No.
I have no idea where it came from.
But what I love about it is like kind of the stories behind it. So one thing in my research about it is that when the ball is flying towards the camera, they actually had a pitcher throw the ball from the camera to the other side of the room and then reversed it to get the effect.
That's right, yeah.
And they did the same thing when it went into his head. And actually, the actor, I don't know who it is. Let's see. I don't know.
So while you're looking at that, so right after the sphere situation, though, is another great scene with the tall man, because there's like a kerfuffle where Mike closes the door on the tall man and it manages to cut off a finger of the tall man.
But another fun fact I had about that is that the janitor who had all his fucking crazy makeup on, apparently...
Is that makeup? It just looks like real life to me.
Yeah. I mean, he actually got fucked in the face. No, but apparently what happened was after that whole scene, the actor who played the janitor was just like, kind of like, I'm done with my workday. I'm going to drive home. And a cop pulled him over.
The janitor?
The janitor. But he still had all the makeup on. And the cop was like, what the fuck is going on right now?
God. I didn't even realize he had makeup on.
Yeah, he's like, I was doing a scene from a movie. That's why my face is so fucking bloody on my eyes and my fucking
you're talking about I'm going after this scene. Oh,
yeah.
That's hilarious.
He's like, I'm going to drive home now.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a pretty impressive scene.
How many times have I been in a car with blood on my face?
I mean, you just get screwed in the face by a fucking silver sphere.
By a giant fuck. Yeah, absolutely.
Also, I mean, that's why... Also, another side note, that's why J.J. Abrams named the character Captain Phasma in the Star Wars series.
Oh, yeah.
Which is... I guess anyone that's listening to this, I have a hard opinion on Captain Phasma.
Wait, save it for the end. Save the rest of the fun facts for the end.
Yeah. Okay, I have a lot of feelings about that.
Anthony's got opinions.
Yeah, I got opinions. Anyways. I don't get off on funerals, man.
So Mike cuts off this fucking finger of his tall man, which is amazing.
Yes, so Mike is running away.
Yeah.
And I feel like the finger reveal is so cool.
So, what he cuts it off, and he realizes that the tall man does not bleed like the regular people do. He bleeds fucking yellow goop bullshit. And so he takes his finger, he puts it in a box. Which
looks like honey mustard, I'm going to say. It looks like a great ass dipping sauce.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a great dipping sauce.
Like, tall man blood is like, I really want to dip my chicken
let's get some Mickey
fries.
Let's dip it on in there. Yeah.
Let's fucking do it.
It's like some grape poupon.
Also, tall man runs fast as fuck.
Terrifying.
He's not a slow walker. And like, I feel like you would think that from the tall man when he's like...
Yeah, he struts.
He's just, you would think he would be a slow mover. No,
he's like a fucking crane, dude.
Motherfucker is just
he's like a giraffe
doing the
and
most.
A crane.
Like, whenever the tall man is running after someone in this movie, like, it feels very real because his length is so like expanding.
Slender Man.
Yeah,
he's like real life Slender Man.
It's pretty fucking good, and that actually makes it more terrifying. I mean, especially like when you think about when this movie was made in the 70s, 80s, when slasher movies were about the slow-moving killer.
Oh, yeah.
And the tall man is just like, oh, actually, I'm going to fucking chase after you with my long-ass legs.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm going to get you. Like, that is fucking actually more terrifying.
Yeah.
Which is fucking cool.
Movement is really... Movement for the killer or for the villain is very, very important in horror movies. And as you just said, a lot of them don't really move at all.
Yeah.
Like, fucking, all of a sudden, Michael is there, and then he's not. And then he's there again, and he's next to you.
Yeah.
Whereas the tall man, you see him chase after you.
Yeah, he is actually after
Behind you.
Yeah. Like, he's literally trying to grab you, and he's very tall.
Yeah, lanky ass.
And he's got some
man.
rouge.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Like, that's...
Like I said, real life Slender Man. I'd be terrified if I was walking through the forest and all of a sudden his lanky ass arm reached towards my throat. I would die.
I would completely die. So, yeah. Mike then takes Tall Man's finger into a box, which I don't know where he got the box from.
Yeah.
But then he shows it to Jody, and then Jody all of a suddenly believes Mike about this shit.
This is a great scene because so there's a lot of times in a horror movie, there's this scene where the character that has believed all along is trying to prove a point towards what he's been trying to do the entire movie. And it's suddenly where you are supposed to believe him. And usually it falls flat. Usually you have this box with this proof in it and you open it and it's gone. Or it's not doing the thing that it needs to be doing. And that's not the case with this, which is fucking wonderful. Because he opens it up and Jody's like, oh, there it is. And does it? That's his reaction.
No, Jody's reaction to... So Mike cuts off the finger of the tall man. Takes it back to Jody. Shows Jody... And then Jody, who hasn't believed anything that Mike has told, looks at the finger in the box moving around with yellow fucking blood and is just like, he closes the box and he's like, I believe you now. Yeah. And I was like, wait.
And that's it.
What? Well, okay.
Not what the fuck.
No, like, there's
I need to go to the police.
He has no reaction to this shit at all. Which...
Just, I guess this is real and this is my life now.
My God.
I now have to deal with this. Okay, this is now a problem.
I mean, it's a good thing in terms of the story because Jody actually gets on board.
Now he's on board.
Hanging out with his brother.
And this is, by the way, I clocked it, and I think it was exactly halfway through. This is the halfway point now. Where finally Jody is like, I guess my little brother's right.
It's like, yeah, you're cool, man.
Yeah.
It's like,
you know what? I won't ship you off to fucking Auntie.
You know, you fixed my car. You found some really weird little goblins.
Yeah. You also kind of fucked off when I asked you to when I was fucking. So, thanks, little bro.
Yeah, so Jody finally realizes, okay, this is actually real now, and has a very weird reaction to it. But he has some reaction to it, which is great.
Right. He has this crazy reaction to it, and then... they opened the box again, and it's
a fucking bug.
Yeah, now the finger, which, by the way, I am very confused at this. I know that this is maybe not the proper moment to be confused at, because there's all these things that I'm confused about. Yeah. Okay. How long does the finger need to ruminate in the box for it to become a fly creature? Because it is now a fly creature.
Also, I'm gonna go on the record and say the fly creature was probably the least impressive special effects out of the entire movie.
It still scared me because it was like, okay, so the fly creature is okay. The finger is now turned into a weird, fucked up fly, and it's giant. It's probably about the size of a fist, and it gets out, and all of a sudden, you just see. I love this part. You just see Mike's hair start moving.
It's amazing. It just is
little finger-like things fucking touching his head, and it's like, you can't see me. I'm moving my finger right now. It's like somebody making the come hither motion with several different legs.
It's such a great horror movie moment, but it's just so funny in terms of the character to be like, you're just gonna let this thing hang on your head for so long.
I guess like
cool.
That's the coolest fucking thing about that moment, though, is like Mike is just sitting there. This thing is was slowly coming from like maybe the nape of his neck towards the top of his head.
I mean, it's fucking great. Yeah. Like it's. I mean, you want to talk about like the silver sphere thing or like Tall Man. This is
a great moment.
It's movie. Also like a very great moment.
There's a couple comedic things in it, and besides the dialogue, besides the transitions, this is a wonderful fucking classic like B movie move.
Yeah.
Like there's a little tiny creature, and we're gonna show it for a minute.
Going
Goddamn
on
it.
a little too
We spent a
long.
lot of money on this.
Yeah,
thing.
god damn it, someone
It's
designed
gonna
this.
have some screen time.
My friend designed this goddamn
That's
little
right.
creature. I'm gonna
You know,
put it in your hair.
And he's gonna be in
you son of a
bold
bitch.
in the fucking credits.
But it's like also a really fucking good creepy moment, and it's
Right.
I mean, it's fucking hilarious when Mike just like puts his head into a backpack and just starts flailing around down the stairs.
Flails around. They fucking.
And then Reggie comes and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" It's like, Reggie, let me.
Yeah, what's going on?
Let me get you up to speed on what's happening right now.
You're in the midst of some shit right now.
And then Jody just starts stabbing into the garbage disposal.
Yeah, Mike is being attacked by this weird fly creature thing. You just happen to walk in because apparently you have a key to the place because now you live here and we're best friends and we jam all the time. Hey, do you have an ice pick? Because
he does have an ice pick.
Because you drive,
Boy has an ice pick, for sure.
fucking ice cream truck. Can I borrow that? No talk of weaponry, nothing like that. Just grab the fly and then they shove it into a fucking garbage disposal. Not once.
And then Jody just
not once, but twice. Twice.
And then the second time, Jody just stabs it to death.
All of a sudden, Jody is relieved because they fucking put the first time they put the fucking fly. They grab it with the jacket. They put the fly in the garbage disposal. Now the jacket has a hole in it because it was shoved down a fucking garbage disposal. And Jody's like, "Woo, that was great. I'm glad we family time." And then the fly's like, "Hey, bitch, I'm back." And then they do the same thing over again.
I love how we're getting on this like tangent, but like also it makes no sense. It makes no sense why the tall man gets his finger chopped off and why it turns into a bug.
That's what I was saying. But I'm more curious about how long does it need to be with the finger ruminating in the box for it to turn into the fly. That's what I'm curious about. And then why does it turn into a fly? Does it have the option to turn into different things? I don't know.
No, there's literally no explanation.
There's no
for
information
it
about
at
this.
all.
Yeah.
But apparently, what happened was Don Cascarelli poked his finger through a styrofoam cup and wiggled his finger around and thought that would be a good special effect for a movie, which is fucking cool.
Oh, okay. That's how we got the finger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something on the finger.
Okay. We don't know how we got the fly, though.
We don't know how we got the fly, but that is a fucking weird thing. Also, Jody, I gotta put this on this note because I don't know if this is the next scene after this, but I think it is from what our notes we took. But Jody is extremely irresponsible with gun control.
Oh my god, no, that's the next note I had too. I literally have in bold
Good. I'm
gun
glad
talk.
you grabbed this.
Gun talk.
All right, guys, we're gonna get into some gun talk right now.
We're in Texas. It's appropriate. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So Jody and Mike's parents die. And they just have guns now. They
just have guns now.
I mean, hey, you know what? Second Amendment, whatever. Mm-hmm. I am personally not against guns. That's fine.
Yeah, me neither.
But, Jody is extremely irresponsible with guns. Mike literally falls asleep on the staircase with a loaded shotgun. Your little
This
brother.
is when he's guarding the box right before he shows it to Jody.
Yeah.
He has a fucking shotgun. Right? It's a shotgun.
No. So,
right?
Mike
Pointed
is...
at the box.
No, Mike is on the stairs, and he has fallen asleep with the shotgun.
These are
and then
Jack Carpet stairs.
And then Jody comes down the stairs. He's fallen asleep in his fucking bell-bottoms. And comes to Mike
That's right.
while Mike is still asleep and unloads all the shells that are in his shotgun. What the fuck, dude? Like, I'm not gonna... I
counted 5 rounds.
You know, I've never been an older brother to someone while our parents are dead. But I gotta say...
Your parents are alive.
My parents are alive.
Love your parents.
But I gotta say, this isn't the way to do it. Like, what the
He
fuck?
unloads the gun while
He's like, yeah.
he's
Oh, look
sleeping.
at all these shells in here.
Yeah.
What's up? Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, really? Like, you are kind of the shittiest older brother ever. You're just letting guns just kind of... Which kind of goes into this movie in general, is how very fast and loose they play it with like gun stuff.
Because there's this part where, so there's some gun talk, and then there's this be right back moment where Jody goes to check out the outside of the house, and he says like, he says, hey, I'm just gonna go take a look. Which in any movie, that's just a variation of like, hey, I'll be right back. Hey, I'm gonna go see what's going on. Which never, you should ever. You're never gonna come back. That's the point of that.
As Scream has told you, very meta.
Yeah, exactly. So don't do that. Don't ever say that. If you ever think you're in a horror movie, don't say that. I know I've said that several times before. Can't say it enough. So he says that, and then there's this whole thing later on. I know I'm skipping ahead, but with the whole fucking gun thing, where what does he do? What does Mike do with the bullet and the pin and the shooting of the lock?
Is that how
it's make 'em ups?
Is that how shotgun shells work?
He takes a shotgun shell.
What
And he sticks it with like a pin or something.
Okay, we
can
can table that for later because that is a whole thing that I want to talk about. But I love Jody's gun speech to Mike, which is, don't aim unless you mean to shoot. Don't shoot unless you aim to kill.
Oh my
That
God.
is like the most fucking... What the fuck?
Yeah,
Cool,
that's
man.
a very...
But he also like kind of says it again, and it's like, yeah, we get it, dude.
Yeah, that's a very, I'm your older brother talk. Like, yeah, that's a very,
Don't shoot unless you aim to kill, bro.
Gear up to, fight.
It's like, no shit, motherfucker. There are fucking tall men and little doors walking around.
Yeah, there's some
Yeah,
shit.
no shit, I'm gonna aim to kill you, fucking idiot.
I don't even know how to... Do they have hearts? Do I shoot for that?
I'm not killing humans, I'm killing fucking demonoids right now, you fucking idiot. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, no shit, I'm gonna fucking kill whatever's in my path right now. You fucking moron.
So, Jody goes to take a look after...
In the mausoleum. And he gets dwarf attacked.
He gets dwarf attacked in that fucking basement.
fucking dwarf attacked.
Did you write down dwarf attack? Because I wrote down dwarf
I
attack.
did write down dwarf attack.
I wrote down dwarf attack.
Oh no, it says when it's dwarf attacked.
Oh yeah, it's literally like all of a sudden now you realize what these creatures are. They're tiny. Well, you realize that they're tiny things in a hood. They call them dwarves. We don't actually know what they are. We just know that they're beings that are smaller than average humans in a hood. They remind me of Ewoks, but they're not furry. You don't ever see their face.
Not furry.
You don't ever see their face.
Honestly, I like them more than Ewoks because Ewoks, I think, suck.
Yeah, I know. Me
Okay,
too.
I'm not gonna do Star Wars
That's a hot
opinions
take.
in here. Yeah, I'm down with that. But little kids were in the little hoods for this movie.
Yeah.
Which is fucking cool. So Jody goes into the mausoleum, gets dwarf attacked.
Right.
And he does like a really impressive wrist move where he does like this gangster ass fucking shot like right above his head.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
That's
wow, man,
right.
that's a fucking flex. Like, how dare you?
Yeah, he like he makes this weird fucking almost like karate maneuver where he puts his hand above his head with the gun and then aims it down.
There's no way. I mean, okay.
No.
I'm not a gun user, but I can say that if your hand at that angle is not okay, like there's no way that works out well for you.
There's a bunch of things I need to kill, and they're all around me, and I'm just gonna shoot any way I can.
For any of the listeners, if you watch this movie, you'll understand. You'll see the wrist movement and how that is not very conducive to gun control. But also, Mike picks up Jody in the fucking CUDA.
Right. He picks up it. Yeah, he picks him up in the CUDA.
There's nobody driving this mother.
Yeah, that's right. He says there's nobody.
But they say it twice, like.
Well, there's several ghost things that are going on with the hearse and the CUDA. They both are being driven by nobody at some point. Like when they get out of the car.
The CUDA?
Yeah. Because I have I have Ghost Barracuda written down because at one point it was also haunted.
No way.
That's what I
have
thought.
no idea what you're talking about.
Maybe it's just the hearse then.
It's just the hearse, I think.
I guess it's just the hearse.
Yeah, the hearse, which wasn't even really haunted. It was just being driven by a dwarf who couldn't maybe really see over the steering wheel.
It's still terrible. It looks like, when you look at the hearse, it looks like no one's driving it.
I mean, I just love the fact that when Jody gets into the car, he's like, nobody's driving. And then Mike is like, nobody's driving. It's like, yes, we know that.
Yeah, they shoot at the hearse several times, too.
Yeah.
Shotgun Jody, I have written down.
I also have Shotgun Jody. With an exclamation point, Shotgun Jody. I gotta say, like, one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I think it's, like, super well filmed and just, like, shot where Jody is just out of the sunroof, just shooting the fucking hearse. It's fucking rad. Like, it is really fucking cool. Like, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I like car stuff. I'm not a car expert or anything, but I like looking at good car stuff.
No, yeah, no, it looks
And
great.
it's fucking cool.
Yeah, he looks like a badass. Like,
No,
he
looks like a fucking boss.
The hero of the
and also,
movie
it's
now.
just, like, filmed, like, very competent.
Yeah,
like,
he
it's
suddenly
like-
turned into, like, he went from being kind of a shitbag to the non-believer and the shitty older brother to, like, now maybe the hero of the movie.
Well, I guess I'm talking about in terms of, like, how it's shot in, like, a filmmaking perspective.
yeah.
Is like, oh, like, this is actually, like, a pretty, like, intense car kind of
you're
thing.
talking about the artistic.
Yeah,
design.
it's like, wow, this is, like, pretty fucking cool. Like, wow, you really fucking did it. It's cool. Like, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Oh, God, I literally have, like, hearse empty, but it's one of the doors.
but it's one of the. He's just little. You didn't see him over the steering wheel. It's
Little,
not a big
yeah.
deal.
They call Reggie to bring the truck in. They are with the body. They put that body in Reggie's truck.
Which that's the other thing is like Reggie.
It's really confusing.
Hey, ice cream man, Reggie, do you want to put a dwarf body in your car?
Yeah, can you please bring your truck here? It's cold.
Thanks, guys.
Because ice cream.
What the
Can we put a
fuck?
body in it? Cool, thanks. No questions.
You
Done.
know what? I think Reggie is maybe the biggest victim out of all of this. Like
He just seems like this is normal. Like what there has been. This is the thing. Reggie is an anomaly, and for all you weirdo horror movie nerds out there, you know Reggie. You know Reggie.
Yeah.
Reggie's his real name in real life too.
Yes, it is.
He's just a fucking weirdo, man. He has the weirdest dialogue in it. Everything is normal. It's like every situation is just okay. Like, it's just fine with him.
He's really willing to go with it, which is like, you know what? Honestly, I think I would like Reggie as a friend.
Absolutely.
He's like kind of awesome.
Yeah, if I was trying to explain to him how, like, for some reason I found, like, a terrifying creature in my mailbox that attacked me that day, he would probably just look at me and be like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Like, everything is okay with him.
It's like, man, that sucks.
Let's jam.
Yeah,
let's jam.
Let's jam, man. Let's see if I can play the car right now. Like, it's fine.
Oh my god. They go back to the house. Oh yeah, dude.
Who the fuck is Myrtle?
Yeah, who the fuck is Myrtle?
Who the fuck is Myrtle?
Do you have who the fuck is Myrtle also right now?
No, I do. I literally have who the fuck is Myrtle.
So Myrtle is Myrtle in real life. Myrtle Scotton is her last name in real life. But all of a sudden, again, another weird error, I think, is they go back to the house and all of a sudden a maid pops out of nowhere. And it's Myrtle. Myrtle the maid. And we have not been introduced to her.
I was like,
at all
landlady?
in
Who the
any-
fuck
Nope,
is this
she's a maid.
woman?
And she is only in this movie for like 10 seconds as this maid that's angry. Like, she just pops out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So then they're back at the house. Myrtle pops out of nowhere. First time she shows up. Last time she shows up.
I also have that Reggie says some really jive things like, lay that sucker out. And Mike drops another line that is that mother.
It's always that mother.
Like, calm down, guys. Like, please.
Also, when they're driving away, the song that is the tune in Reggie's truck is Three Blind Mice.
Oh, it is Three Blind Mice. My God.
So, oh my God. See, this movie jumps around so much. So, okay, get back to the house. There's a whole fucking dwarf body. Myrtle, the maid. They go to this antique store.
Yeah, so Jody sends
Jesus
Mike to the
Christ.
antique store with Sally and Susie for no real reason, because isn't Jody just like chilling at the house?
Yeah, Jody's at the house. Sally, Susie, and Mike go to the antique store.
So Mike is with Sally and Susie at the antique store, and he sees the tall man in like the photograph.
Right, he sees all these old Victorian photos, and then he looks at this photo, and it's a tall man, and he is in he's the driver of the horse
carriage, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a film. All of a sudden, it zooms into him, and he's moving, and he looks at tall man, looks at Mike, and then goes back to the horses. And that's actually a really terrifying moment too.
It's a fucking good one.
Yeah.
I mean, what does it mean? But it's great.
Yeah, and then there's like there's this, so all of a sudden you realize that the tall man has been around for a fucking while.
Yes, he's been here for a minute.
Yeah, he doesn't want
and
to
you're
be
kind of like,
discovered.
is he haunting Mike specifically? Like,
I personally don't think so. I think that he's been doing this shit.
yeah, he's just like he's a presence.
He's a being that's been there for a while, and he's trying to exist and do his tall man things.
Yeah.
Which include fucking.
Of course. Which include fucking, which,
Yeah.
like, good for you, dude. Like, my God.
Right.
If you gotta get anything out of being on Earth, I guess fucking is, like, a pretty good one.
Oh, yeah, so then...
So Jody falls asleep
yeah, and he wakes up in the mausoleum.
and has a dream in the mausoleum.
Wakes up in the mausoleum.
He's grabbed by the dwarves.
Grabbed by the dwarves, sucking him in, doing weird dwarf shit. Then Reggie's truck is flipped over. For that, where the ice cream truck gets
Reggie's
wrecked.
truck is flipped over, and
There's the dwarves attack again. Oh yeah, Mike goes through.
the best part of Reggie's truck being flipped over was that. So, okay, this is a really weird thing in this movie, is that Mike is like, Jody sends Mike to hang out with Sally and Susie at the antique store, and then Michael.
Why?
Which
why?
Who knows why?
I still have no idea where they go to the antique store.
But not only that, Mike is like, I need to go home. And Sally and Susie are like, why? And there's no reason why anyone needs to be anywhere at this point. But
Is there a curfew?
But yeah, exactly. Like, Sally and Susie are just hanging out at the antique store, just being a couple gals. And fucking Jody's like, here's my brother. And his brother's like, I gotta go home. And he's like, oh, no, so I can close up the shop. Let's go home. And then fucking Mike fucks everyone's shit up.
There's a car wreck. There's Mike goes through the back fucking window. Like, do you remember that? Where he's like safe? Like,
Yeah.
he's suddenly unscathed by getting in this car wreck. Yeah,
I mean, they're like, is that
then he
Reggie's
starts
truck?
running. He makes it back home to Jody. They drink a beer. Sally
they
and
do.
Susie, they're in the car. Yeah, this is all, yeah, because there's that whole thing where Sally and Susie. Oh yeah, it's the moment where they're in the car, and then
fucking Mike just breaks out the back window, and then
well, they're like
Susie and
they're like,
Sally
wait a
just-
minute, isn't it the tall? Who comes up to the car? Because somebody comes up to the car.
No, it's the dwarves that come.
It's
into
the
car.
dwarves, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh, wait a minute, and the car won't start. It's some weird classic horror movie shit, and it's enough to stall. Where there's a scene where the dwarves go up, and then he... yeah.
But it's weird enough to be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, what
right
is
now?
happening?
Yeah, so Susie and Sally just get taken by some dwarves.
Yeah, Sally and Susie get taken. Then, yeah, so when Mike's back home, Jody and Mike wrestle, and then It's the scene that you laughed at so hard where the banister, the railing that goes up to the ceiling.
Oh my god.
One of the parts.
It's amazing. So, yeah, Jody just, like...
Picks up Mike, flips him around.
Mike and is like, you're being ridiculous. But Mike, in his prepubescent strength...
And his legs.
I actually have prepubescent strength written too many times.
Yeah, he kicks the...
No, he kicks it off.
Yeah, the rail that goes from...
He kicks off railings in the house. Like, this motherfucker
and that looks real.
is just... Real. No, it is
Pretty
real.
Sure it happened.
So we're going to leave that in. That's like really cool.
I'm pretty sure that fucking happened.
It's like, my God. Yeah, I was like, that house is either built really shitty or this is set. I don't know. Who knows?
God.
It's incredible though.
Like
Mike just completely tears that motherfucker off of it.
The tall man awesome. Breaks fucking in, right? Then he drags... Who's it he drags by the hair? And he throws him in the hearse. Mike? Has to be Mike.
Also, I gotta say, does a screwdriver really work to, like, lock a door like that? I don't know about that.
Mike locked himself in the room with
Yeah, he, like, shoved a screwdriver by the door, but, like, does that really work? Does that
I guess you could jam a door that way. I mean, it works for the movie. I don't know if it works.
I mean, I kind of want to try it out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'd see what happens. But I don't know.
Oh, God. So Jody's freaking out. He goes...
Okay, wait, no. We have to talk about the alien imagery.
Oh, okay.
While Mike is putting together a shotgun shell hammer to
This is what I was talking about earlier with the gun and the shotgun shell.
Okay.
You go on.
What the fuck?
He takes the shotgun shell.
He takes a shotgun shell, puts a nail in
the bottom of it, and then puts it against the lock because Jody locked him in.
Yeah, with a screwdriver.
And then hammers the shotgun shell with the nail, and it explodes the lock off the door handle, setting Mike free.
I mean, I
think that it would maybe this is so I have to gun friends. I have gun friends. Tell me if that would work. However, I feel like if it did work in any case, it would probably have some terrible ramifications. It'd probably fucking hurt you.
I've never shot a gun before, but...
You've never shot a gun before?
I've never shot a gun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, Anthony.
Yes. I'm going on record with that right now.
I might take a drink.
Well, I mean, yeah, let's go for it. But I don't think that's how that works.
I don't think it's how it works.
I'm just gonna say, I'm not the wisest man ever, but I'm pretty sure... I don't think that you could put a nail into a shotgun shell and attach it to a hammer and then explode a door. I don't
know how you would even get the nail in there.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't know. Like,
I don't think
am I crazy for thinking this?
You're not crazy. I don't think it's
I don't think that's a thing that can happen.
No.
I think you could have... Well, the funny thing about that scene, too, is when Mike tries to get out of his room, he's already kicked in a part of his door. There's already a part of the door that is kicked in.
Yeah.
It's like, I think you can just, like, bust through your door.
I'm pretty sure you could just break the door.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to, like, do, like, a whole shotgun
It was fun.
thing.
It was a fun thing.
It's really fun, but, like, I don't think there's any logic behind it. And I want to wonder how many people did that to try to...
So that's when, he gets out, tall man fucking drags him by the hair and throws him in the hearse. And so... God, there's so much shit. Let's just get through this.
All right, fine. All right. Cool.
No, it's because it just doesn't, like... I'm looking at this and the transitions are so strange.
Yes, we are doing a weird one right now.
Yeah. So, fucking Mike is in the fucking hearse. And then this is when Mike gets out of the hearse just before the tall man runs the hearse into the pole. And the hearse explodes.
The hearse exploding is, like, so fucking great.
It's so great. Because it's not like a fire. It's like a giant
explosion.
It's
a fucking explosion.
Yeah.
It is like
It's like somebody fucking put a bomb in it.
You know about telephone poles? They fuck with you really hard, apparently. They will fucking make your hearse explode. It's fucked up.
So then this is when we're into Jody's in the mausoleum. He's opening up graves. The sphere shows up again, but only for a brief moment. And it's like when it's so anticlimactic too, because the sphere comes out with its little prongs and then just like searches around and then doesn't fucking do anything.
Yeah.
And I don't know what
the sphere just gets shot with a fucking shotgun, and it's like...
Right, but it doesn't, like... It's not like the epic fucking scene earlier where, like, everybody was expecting that, where, like, it's gonna drill into somebody's head.
Yeah.
It just fucking floats around and then fucking gets shot.
Mm-hmm.
Then... Let's see... To talk about the girls being taken, that never gets discussed really again. We don't know what fucking happens to them.
That's one of the most bizarre scenes for me. Like, it's not important, but it's important to me because of continuity.
There's no fucking continuity in this fucking movie.
Okay, Reggie escapes. Sure, I can believe that. But the two girls in the car with the dwarves...
Yeah,
how does Reggie release them from their thing? Like, what the fuck is that? He's like, oh yeah, I let them out a window. They were good.
Oh yeah, like, he showed up to like save him, and he let him out a window, and he says that they were good.
I let him out the window, and they were good.
And that's it.
And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Let them out the car window, and then all of a sudden, apparently they're good, and we're supposed to be satisfied with that answer. I mean, thank you, Reggie, for helping, but also I'll have some follow-up.
There are some questions that I have to ask you, dude.
Right.
Like, you just don't do that.
Right. So then it gets...
There are 4 women that you have to be accountable for, my guy. Like, I'm sorry. Like, there needs to be stories.
There's only 2, not 4.
Yeah. Are there...
It's only 2. It's Sally and fucking Susie Q, fucking antique store bitches.
That's true. I think just Reggie's shit is all fucked up. I'm a little bit biased.
So this is now when the door that I mentioned earlier with the figureheads above it, they finally go through it. This is like the whole fucking crux of the movie. They go through the door and they realize that they're about to enter another fucking world. It is now the fucking Twilight Zone. They see all these drums full of, we don't know, it's just like a drum, it's a blue plastic drum, and they look in, and I am guessing, they never clarify, but I'm guessing that they're dwarves inside there. And then there are these 2 solid silver prongs. And this is where the tactic that the old psychic woman and the young blonde woman comes into play, where Mike puts his hand in between these two prongs, and his hand slightly disappears. And then all of a sudden, he teaches himself not to be afraid, and he gets sucked into this fucking other world that looks like it looks like Mars. It looks like a red desert full of these fucked up dwarf things.
Well, what I was gonna say about it earlier is that with the tall man and Reggie's ice cream cold shit is that Mike talks about how hot the planet is.
Yeah, because he comes back. When he comes back, he's fucking smoking. It's like he's on fire.
Exactly. So when the tall man experiences like Reggie's ice cream cold bullshit, he has a reaction to it because he is from a hot planet. He's an alien man.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And that's the other thing is like, is he an alien?
Which also the last 20 minutes of this movie are so sci-fi.
Yeah, that's
like it's like all of this movie for all of it is like very horror movie, like dreamlike everything. But for the last like 20 minutes, it's all just like sci-fi crazy shit.
Yeah, this movie,
which is awesome.
No, it's amazing. I honestly didn't really think about that aspect to it until last night when you brought it up, where you were like, yeah, he's a fucking alien. And I was like, oh my god, this movie is actually part of the subgenre of sci-fi horror. And I didn't even think about that at all. I was like, oh yeah, they go to another planet. That's definitely sci-fi. Oh yeah, tall man, bleeding yellow, probably an alien. Okay, sci-fi. Like, that's so cool because when you think of like sci-fi horror, you think of big ones like fucking Alien. Like, but this is
The Thing.
Yeah,
you just think about these like very iconic ones, but like when you start to think about it in like really like low key like Phantasm.
What?
It's sci-fi horror.
Sci-fi, yeah. He's made of sci-fi.
He's a fucking alien man. He's an alien man with little hooded slaves. It's terrible. It's fucking awful. My God. Why?
I didn't even think about them being slaves.
No, they're slaves.
They're slaves.
It's terrible. It's like,
maybe, okay, this is fucked up, but maybe... the house. Plantation house. Like, I don't know.
Hey, the tall man's a piece of shit.
He's
That's
a piece
okay.
of shit.
The tall man's a piece of shit. We can all agree on that. The tall man's a piece of shit.
I didn't write this. Like,
no.
I washed mine.
We're just
discussing. I quit my life.
The tall man is no good.
Oh, yeah, I even have. Yeah, realizes the dwarves are being used as slaves. Yeah, that's right. Oh,
okay.
Oh, God.
I mean, we still have so much to uncover.
Let's get to the end because I think we're getting into it.
Oh yeah. So Jody and Mike go to their father's thing. Jody doesn't want to look at his father's corpse.
Yeah, they're at their.
Mike is like,
mausoleum.
I'm down, and the father's body's not there because obviously
Reggie gets sucked into the drums though, as well in the room.
No, Reggie gets out. He gets out.
Yeah, but there's like a scene where he gets like sucked into the one of the drums, and then he gets out.
Yeah, he gets out.
Yeah,
he gets out. Though.
Yeah, right. And then there's like a windstorm, and there's a whole thing with them looking at the parents, and they're all still fucking in the house, and oh god, it's so confusing.
Oh my god, the soundtrack is so good though. Not the
yeah,
soundtrack,
the tall man
score.
is still
so
the score is
good.
really good. The tall man is still fucking looking for them. They go back home. The tall man finds them. He breaks through the window. That's when you hear for the first time, tall man goes, boy. That's the famous fucking line and moment of the tall man because he really doesn't have a lot of dialogue.
Fucking good as fuck.
Yeah. Mike tries to escape. He's running through mud. He falls, and there's all those hands that are trying to grab on him. Reminds me of the labyrinth. It reminds me of when the person falls through the shaft. All the hands are grabbing onto him.
You play a good game, boy.
Yeah. Yep.
The game is finished. Now you die.
Yeah. Okay. So now,
incredible.
Now we're at the. I think we're at the best scene in the entire.
Oh, please do tell me. Well, what? Okay.
Hold on. Let's 1 second. Okay, so I was just talking about how we were getting into the best scene of the movie. Oh, buddy. So I'm going to touch on really quick. There's this whole fucking conspiracy that they talk about with the mines and how there's some shit going on in the mines there and maybe some supernatural shit arose from it. But I don't really care about that. That's a theory. That's something that Don Coscarelli obviously didn't care enough about to explain about.
Sure.
So there was that. Mines... Jody dies all of a sudden. I don't even know. Jody's dead.
Well, Jody puts the boulders. he Mike looks up at Jody and Jody's like, "Yeah, dude, I put the boulders down."
Yeah, to block the mines or something.
To block the mines.
Yeah.
It's weird.
But then, I don't remember, Jody dies in the car? He dies in the car wreck. There's a car wreck with the Barracuda and Jody dies. And then all of a sudden... yes.
I mean, this is the whole thing. So we were talking about yesterday where I think in the 70s it was okay to get away with it's all the dream kind of thing.
Yeah, okay, so this is... By the way, I want to congratulate you guys if you have made it this far.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You're doing great.
You're doing great because like Phantasm and like this podcast, it's all about to come to a head in just a second.
We're losing our minds also.
I promise. Yeah. So I literally have Jody dies in a car wreck, ? Because that's the way that it was explained away. Because now... Reggie is in their house, and Mike wakes up.
Well, okay. We have to explain this thing where the lady in lavender also stabs Reggie.
Right, she does stab Reggie.
Weird, and it just turns into like a whole like dream sequence where
There's
it's like
a fucking car crash. Mike wakes up. Reggie is there he's in their home and he is playing the guitar next to their fireplace.
Yes.
And there's a fire going on in the fireplace. The scene is beautiful. Good job, Reggie. And Mike wakes up and Reggie kind of explains that it was all a dream and that Jody died in a car wreck and like this whole motherfucking thing is a dream. And at that point, kids, seriously, it made me feel like I was a child playing Monopoly with my family and I wanted to flip that goddamn board because where did you get all that money? It's a lie. It's a made up.
We gotta talk about the best quote is you play a good game, boy. The game is finished. Now you die.
Now you die.
Amazing.
That's my tall man.
That's my tall man.
Yeah.
He is a fucking boss-ass motherfucker.
Yeah. He is honestly constantly after Mike in this because Mike is the truth seeker. And the villain will always go after the truth seeker.
So watching this movie a couple of times before we've done this podcast, I have... maybe thought about this a little too much. About some like really weird like prepubescent things that have been happening. Like not with me.
Yeah. But
prepubescent like I don't know, like traumatizing things that have happened with people in their lives.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah, no, this is a very strange fucking thing.
It's a very fucking strange movie.
Yeah, all of this is a fever dream. It really is. And that's kind of like, I don't want it to be, but...
Okay, so at the end of this movie, when Reggie, the ice cream man, is like, hey, man, I know your brother died and your parents died. Let's go on a road trip.
Let's go on a road trip.
What the fuck?
I'm here. I'm now your new dad.
Yeah, like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know.
Yeah, and he's just playing guitar next to the fire, and it's lit, and everything is like hunky fucking dory. Really and Mike is losing his goddamn mind because he just had this fucked up fever dream and believes it. By the way, he's gonna be sent to a mental institution. Like, there's no getting around it.
I mean, in Phantasm 2, he gets out of a mental institution.
There you go.
Which is very fitting because...
Yeah.
What the fuck else is gonna happen?
He just got mind-fucked tortured. Like, these are the things that just happened.
Dude.
And the very, very...
You've had so much loss in your life.
Yeah, this is the very end of the movie.
Goodness.
Like, we just went through this trip through fucking hell to only discover that we just had a dream. And then, the very end, fucking tall man appears in a fucking mirror and says, boy... again, and it's like just reassuring you that, by the way,
just to let you know, your life is pretty fucked.
Dearest Reggie, it wasn't just all a fucking dream. There's a motherfucking alien from maybe Mars, we don't know, that controls little dwarf slaves. and a death-seeking sphere that is definitely coming after you. This is your life now. Welcome. Forever and ever.
Also, I love that the dwarves grabbing people through little enclosed spaces was pre Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh yeah, no, totally. That's a good point. And very, very grabby with the claws.
I'm gonna grab you in here. I'm gonna take you in here. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, because Freddy does that with some wall things, some floor things. Everything is bendable.
My questions. So I have a question.
Oh,
section.
you wrote down questions.
Oh, I have a question section. Where does Jody die, and when do Mike's hallucinations begin?
Yeah, this is the problem. Is that this is something that is very, very unclear, and I think that it definitely like.
So was Tommy? That's what I think. Is Tommy actually Jody?
Is Tommy actually dead? Is he actually a real fucking person? Are any of these people real? Or
Exactly.
where are we? Are we on Earth? Are we on a different fucking planet? There are so many fucking unanswered. It's not definitive. Nothing is definitive in this movie, and it's good and it's bad because it leaves you with this. We're able to have a discussion about it because it's so fucking weird. And I think because it was originally supposed to be much longer, that was the only solution. We have to explain it away with a dream.
Yeah.
And I understand that. However, it's very confusing. I love it for all the things that we said earlier. The good little blood scene with the sphere, the creativity. Like this plot is straight up ripped out of nothing. It's not. There's no transitions. There's nothing lateral about it.
There's nothing.
It's a different dimension
about
almost. I wouldn't be surprised if this was not Earth that it was on, but a different fucking time.
I mean,
altogether.
literally. I mean, at the end of this movie, I guess you're supposed to understand that, like, the tall man isn't a fucking alien.
Yeah, he's some sort of other being.
Who has slaves.
Who has these dwarf slaves, yeah.
That he creates out of...
Putting them in a giant blue drum.
And then compacting them down to make them...
Yeah.
Better because of gravity. Like, it's weird. It's really weird. But at the end of the day...
It's so strange.
What a fucking movie,
it's like,
though.
You have to,
like,
it's one of those movies where if I went to go see this in theaters when it came out, and I think that this actually really speaks to it and why it is so interesting. The budget originally was $300,000, and then it made over $11 million, and almost $12 million. And it really speaks to it because I can only imagine being that fucking kid who's either fucking drunk or high or something. I go and sit through this shit, and I come out, and I look at my friends, and they're all, you're all geared up to see the next fucking great horror movie, whatever. And they're like, oh man, tell me about it. And you're like, no. You just gotta go see this shit.
Yeah.
You gotta, it's an experience.
It's one of those things. And I mean, just talking about it when I was younger is like, I haven't seen Phantasm. I mean, when we did this thing, I hadn't seen Phantasm in like a few years. But watching it again, I thought I was going to be like, oh yeah, I'll understand this movie.
Yeah.
No. This movie makes no sense at all.
I forgot how nonsensical it was. No. Yeah.
It's so nonsensical, but I feel like it geared me towards more dreamlike things, like, like I love like David Lynch.
Yeah.
And I think that like Phantasm maybe like
it
help
is.
me
it's
like
very,
get towards
like I said, it's like a fever dream. It's like very dream state. It's very fucking ambient. It's kind of like, oh, where are you and what are you doing in this particular point? Which I'll admittedly now going through it makes it very hard to talk about transition wise.
Yeah.
But I love this movie for that. Like you could pause it at any point at home and look at your friends and be like, did you see what the fuck just happened? I don't know. Can you fucking explain it? But that's what's great, and that's what I love about fucking horror movies is sitting there and discussing them. Because if it's all played out on the table, some are good. Some horror movies are very literal and they're very there, and you have no questions fucking asked, and you can still kind of discuss it. But it's like, what happened? What is an unsolved mystery? Thank you.
Exactly.
Robert Stack just coming out of his ghostly little figure, fucking. Hey, I'd like to think. Somewhere in horror movie heaven, R.I.P. Angus Scrimm, who plays the fucking tall man, and Robert Stack are sitting there, and they're both looking at each other going, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's like,
your careers, both of them.
You guys did it real well.
Yeah. You were a mystery. You are a man of mystery. This is a movie of mystery. Fucking Angus Scrimm will forever live on in my mind as
I mean, that's
creepy fucking figure, dude.
Just almost the beautiful thing about it is like I will never understand this movie.
I want to mention something that is really important that I held off to mention until the very end, and I don't even know if I've told you this, Anthony.
Oh, please do.
I met every one of these fucks except for Angus Scrimm. He had to he passed away of cancer in 2016, and this is when he was still going through. Years before that, I was at a horror movie convention and a panel with Don Coscarelli and Reggie and a few others of the cast members, and Angus Scrimm videoed in. And what's hilarious is so many people had questions and there were no answers. It was just, this is what you make of it. And that's what's wonderful and magical about this movie is it's up to you, man.
Yeah. There's really no answers ever.
No.
And like
even throughout the franchise. This is the beginning of the franchise.
Yeah. Even rewatching it, I was just like, oh, I think like I'm a wise enough person to like maybe try to get into this, and it's like, nope, I don't understand this at all.
No. And you never will.
But that's kind of the great thing about it is because this movie is it throws back to so much of like that like German like expressionist like shit that is just like is so fucking cool. Is like this is just what that is, but in like a modern American way.
Yeah.
Which is really fucking cool. And like, you know, you look at all these movies like I know like Coscarelli was like very influenced by like Suspiria and Repulsion and all these things, and it's like that
are very ambient and mysterious,
it's
and
like
witchy and woo woo.
Nothing really needs to make sense. And the way you did it was kind of in a kind of sleazy B-movie kind of thing, but you did it right.
Yeah.
And you've become a cult fucking classic.
Yeah.
Just fucking amazing.
And now we'll talk about it forever. And he was 24, 25 when he directed this movie. So good on you for fucking making this piece when you were in your mid-20s. I didn't do jack all when I was in my mid-20s.
For sure.
Yeah, so that's a fun fact. A couple other things, some fun facts is that Don Coscarelli rented all of the equipment to shoot this movie on a Friday and then would return it on a Monday so that he only paid 1 day of rental.
Yeah, the whole weekend.
Fees. Yeah, so he had the whole weekend. He loved just using the regular names from the actors because Mike is Mike in real life. His name is he's accredited as A. Michael Baldwin, and the A doesn't stand for anything.
No, yeah, it's just like A. Michael Baldwin. Okay, cool.
And Reggie is Reggie Bannister. Myrtle is Myrtle. Mm-hmm. Scatton, as I said earlier. All these fucking people just had their regular. I'd like my regular name to work with if I was doing a movie, it'd be much easier. And yeah, like again, please guys, like go fucking watch this movie. It's available on Amazon, right? Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And whatever you think of it is correct. Whatever you think of it is right.
It is a weird ass fucking movie.
This is what another thing is, people, especially nerds and horror movie nerds, genre fans, everybody likes to get tripped up and fucked up with the facts of this movie. And this doesn't, it doesn't have that. A lot of horror movies do. But this one, it doesn't.
I mean,
so have fun with it.
I gotta say, like, well, going off on a tangent before we get off on this thing, is that, like, this is one of those movies where you have those, like, dreamlike sequences that, like, mean a lot to you. But this is, like, a movie that got me into, like, some really, like, surreal filmmaking. Like,
yeah,
I didn't know it at the time, but, like, hey, I didn't know I'd be into David Lynch. But this kind of,
I didn't know that I would be in some creepy woods.
This kind of helped it a little bit.
Yeah.
But Phantasm's fucking great. And it's a fucking weird
There's
ass
a reason
movie.
why it exists in the mouths of horror movie fans.
Yeah.
And even cult movie fans, B horror movie fans, B movie fans.
I would even say beyond B movie fans.
Yeah.
It's
well known for a reason.
Fucking iconic.
Yeah.
It's an iconic place in. Yeah.
So guys, we're gonna close down. Follow us on all of the things. We are Horrorible on Instagram, and fucking email us if you have any fucking questions about this shit. We are horrible at Gmail. And this has been a BANGover production. This podcast is connected to all the things with the network of BANGover, so please check out all that shit if you're a music lover, which I'm sure you are, because if you don't fucking like music, you're not. I just don't care about you. I just don't fucking care about you at all. Get out of here. So check out all the music podcasts. So yeah, YouTube, BANGover production, BANGover Productions. We are horrible. Follow me if you want. Bria R. Beal, like Be Right Back, Bria R. Beal, on Instagram. And Anthony, if you want to plug your bitch ass.
I'm going to go through you, dude.
Yeah, if you got shit to say about him, just talk to me.
Yeah, go through.
But, okay, guys, have a good night. Stay safe through the world burning down to hell. And maybe we'll end up on that weird Mars planet and have our own dwarf slates.
Yes, I hope so. Fuck yeah, dude.
R.I.P. Angus Scrimm. Good dude, tall man, haunt me for the rest of my life. Stay spooky, y'all.
Goodbye. Love you.
Bye, folks.